everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Elle.K here with another video, and today I woke up this morning and decided to choose violence. I've decided to read 1-star reviews for books that I absolutely love. I've seen this video kind of going around and it's very entertaining to watch, so I thought I'd give it a try. And now that I am sitting here getting ready to film it, I can feel myself getting sensitive about it, which is ridiculous because everybody is more than welcome to have their own opinions about books. Every book is going to hit somebody a different way, but I'm already in my feelings. I'm already in my feelings because I love these books that I'm about to share with you guys and read these 1-star reviews for. So if you would like, first of all, if you have not seen my most recent review slash book chat on The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, I would highly suggest you go watch that video after this one because it is hella funny. And if you would like to currently listen to me get all the way in my feelings about these books, keep on watching.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly, look in my eyes.
Okay guys, so I've seen this video kind of circulating around with a couple different booktubers, you know, reading these 1-star reviews for books for your favorite books essentially. And you know, full disclaimer, everything that I say here is not to be taken seriously at all. Everybody is more than welcome and entitled to have their own opinion on books that they read. Like I said in the intro, every book is going to hit somebody a different way. Clearly the books that I love, some people do not love, and that's fine. This is just all fun and games type of thing, so please don't take it seriously. I'm not coming for anybody or anything like that. This is literally just for fun and to put myself in my feelings, just because why not? For your entertainment, pretty much. So here we go. The first book that we're gonna do is literally my all-time favorite book, and it's written by my favorite author, and that, if I could grab it, and that is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I actually have, this one's a little bit, I have 2 copies of this book. So I'm gonna read you the synopsis for all the books that I'm talking about today on Goodreads, and I'm also going to be getting the 1- and 2-star reviews off of Goodreads as well. I rated this book 5 stars. It is my all-time favorite book. It's my all-time favorite book. I don't think I've read anything since this one that's topped it. So the synopsis is, with her daughter to care for and her abuela to help support, high school senior Imani Santiago has to make the tough decisions and do what must be done. The one place she can let her responsibilities go is in the kitchen, where she adds a little something magical to everything she cooks, turning her food into straight-up goodness. Still, she knows she doesn't have enough time for her school's new culinary arts class, doesn't have the money for the class trip to Spain, and shouldn't still be dreaming about someday working in a real kitchen. But even with all the rules she has for her life and all the rules everyone expects her to play by, once Imani starts cooking, her only real choice is to let her talent break free. So, before I get into the 1/2-star reviews, the reason that I love this book is it's honestly just a breath of fresh air. There's no huge climactic problem that needs to be solved in this book. You are literally just following Imani going through her last year of high school and the ups and downs that take place. And it's, for me, reading it seemed very, very realistic for the things that she's going through as a teen mom, and I really enjoyed that. I can understand how it wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea because there's no gigantic issue to solve. There's no big set of drama, nothing like that. Imani is very mature for her age. It was a really, really nice read. I listened to the audiobook for it, which Elizabeth Acevedo narrates, and I would 10 out of 10 recommend this, especially for the summertime. It is such a beautiful listen, and it's just like, you just kind of coast through it. It's really, really, really nice. So those are my thoughts on the book. Let's get to these reviews, shall we? So overall, the book has a rating of 4.24 stars, and there's over 55,000 ratings. So that's pretty good. I'd say the wide majority has given it 5 or 4 stars. We're gonna go to that very, very tiny percent that's given it a 1 star. Oh God. Okay, I guess I'll do this one. Oh God, this one is so long. Okay, I'm gonna read, I guess I'll read some of it. So it says, Oof, where the F do I start? I guess I should say something good before I let all the negativity flow out. I have to say that the book cover is A1 and the premise itself sounds good. So that is what pushed me to read a YA contemporary. And after reading Girl Made of Stars, I thought I would finally make progress with them, but I was so wrong. Okay, so this is somebody who already has a problem with YA contemporary, so automatically you and I are not friends because I love YA contemporary. But let's keep going. I did not like this book, clearly. At all. Honestly, I'm surprised this book has such a high rating with the way it's written. Ouch, girl. I'm going to start with the one thing that grinded my gears. Baby girl. I swear if I have to read it one more effing time, I'm going to end myself. Okay. Not to critique how anybody writes their reviews, but just like the amount of profane, it's really, for a YA contemporary, it's really just not necessary to cuss this much in a review. That's my personal opinion. If that's what you do, by all means go ahead. But like in my opinion, it's just like, you're taking this really seriously for a YA contemporary. And the reference that she's making, the baby girl reference, so Imani's daughter, she refers to, her daughter's name is Emma, but she calls her daughter baby girl. And I don't know if this is like a cultural thing, because growing up in my house, my mom would always call me princess. She called me princess more than my actual name. That's how it is. There's a lot of members in my family who we don't even really call them by their name. We call them by their nickname. So that could very well be a cultural thing. That didn't bother me at all. It's actually something that I resonated with, and it's clearly something that irritated this reader immensely. I don't know why it would. And then to top it all off, Emma, I think, is 2, about to turn 3. So she's a baby, like she's a toddler, a baby turning into a toddler, whatever. Like, to me that just seems nitpicky, but okay, we'll keep going. Her name is Emma. You literally named her. Why can't Imani just call her by that? It was baby girl this and baby girl that. The only time she referred to Emma, she said, oh boy, she said it was her government given name. That's not how names work. You name the child, not the effing government. I think it bothered me so much because I was so goddamn bored. Okay, like, again, I'm gonna screenshot it so you can see, like, this person is like big mad over this. I mean, your government name, your legal name, again, that could just be like my full name is Noelle Henry, and if somebody asks, like, what's your legal name, what's your government name, that's what I'm gonna say. Everybody else calls me Elle or Ellie. That's my nickname. So I wonder if this person just has an issue with the title of baby girl or nicknames in general. I'd be curious, but again, I could be being petty at this point. Next paragraph. The writing was so bad, to say the least. There were so many corny lines that made me roll my eyes. It's wild to miss someone so, like, and an example of the line is, it's wild to miss someone so much, and yet in order to care for them, you have to constantly say goodbye. Girl, what? Imani is making it seem like she has to say goodbye to Emma and leave for days when she's literally either going to work or going to school. Corny. This person obviously doesn't have kids, or I would assume that this person doesn't have kids, because at such a young age, it is hard to let your kid go and be in the care of someone else. So I'm a Sunday school teacher, and I largely deal with 2 to 3 year olds. So that's the age before they even go off to school yet. So a lot of the times before they even reach daycare, their first encounter with somebody other than their parents for an extended period of time, like an hour and a half, is with me. And it's actually really, really hard for parents to say, okay, here's my kid for an hour, I'll be right back. The kids are crying, sometimes the parents are crying, and I fully understand that, you know, especially if you're a single mom or a single parent. You've had this little baby with you for 2 years or 3 years every single day with just you, and trusting that care into someone else is actually a big deal. So I think this person is being a little bit insensitive towards that, because I completely, even though I don't have children, I completely understand how it can be difficult to say, here's my kid for a couple of hours while I go about and do X, Y, Z. Next, we get to Petty Leslie. That's what made me dislike Imani so effing much. What's up with her and names? We're going back to the nickname thing? Okay. It was as if Pretty Leslie. Pretty was the character's name. Something about the name sounded like a backhanded compliment. Her name isn't Pretty. Her name is literally Leslie. Effing call her that. Okay. So throughout the book, there's a character named Leslie, and Imani refers to her as Pretty Leslie. And the reason Imani refers to her as Pretty Leslie is because she has kind of these stereotypical Eurocentric features that are deemed pretty. Imani has like really, really curly hair that she wraps up into a scarf, and Pretty Leslie, if I'm remembering correctly, she straightens her hair and it's really, really long and it's a weave, and she just has like the Eurocentric features that are deemed pretty, which is why she calls her Pretty Leslie. It's not to be petty or a backhanded compliment. It's literally shedding light on, oh, these are the characteristics that are deemed pretty in society. I don't have those type of thing. And she never calls her Pretty Leslie to her face or in front of other characters except for her best friend. She refers, like, when they're doing like their little gossip thing, that's how they refer to Leslie. But it's, you're missing the point is my issue with this review. I feel like for this review, this person is looking for reasons to be mad at the book, so they're picking silly reasons to be mad, in my opinion. Last two paragraphs, finally. I think it's books like these that continue the whole I'm not the other girls, but this one changed it up and became I'm not like other kids. Imani came off with such a superiority complex. No, she didn't, because she had obstacles to overcome, and apparently only she had magical hands when it came to cooking and was able to come up with recipes visually in her mind. Like, girl, stop. You just sound petty writing this. Like, okay, maybe I read it a different way. I did not see any superiority complex from Imani at all. Maybe because she resonates with me a lot. She's just somebody who doesn't have any time for your nonsense. She cannot be bothered with anybody's day-to-day crap because she's got a lot to deal with herself, being a whole child and trying to co-parent with somebody who is not easy to co-parent with sometimes. So it's not superiority, it's I just don't have time for your nonsense, and I'm confident about the fact that I don't have time for your nonsense. So if that's how that came off to you, fine, whatever. And that's pretty much it. What was the point? Oh, the last question is, what was the point of the book? The point of the book was you're following this character along her journey and going through her ups and downs and just kind of living through her and putting yourself in her shoes, which you clearly couldn't do. But you know, that's fine. That was your review. So let me screenshot this so I can put it up. I don't even know if I want to put this review up on this. I'll put pieces of it up because I don't curse on my sorry, I don't curse on my channel, just because I know that there are younger viewers who watch it, so I don't like to do that. So I'll put portions of the review that don't have curse words in it. But yeah, okay. Taking a breath, we're now gonna move on to the second book, and that, oh girl, what did I hit? Okay, so the second book that I will be reading negative reviews for is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. I absolutely adore this book. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. I'm only going to do reviews for This Savage Song and not Our Dark Duet, because that's obviously the sequel to this book, and if you haven't read this one, I don't want to spoil Our Dark Duet for you. So let's get some reviews for This Savage Song. This Savage Song is about, okay, so it says, there's no such thing as safe in a city at war, a city overturned with monsters. In this dark urban fantasy from author Victoria Schwab, a young woman and young man must choose, whether to become heroes or villains, and friends or enemies with the future of their home at stake. The first book of two, Kate Harker and August Flynn are the heirs to a divided city, a city where the violence has begun to breed actual monsters. All Kate wants to do is be as ruthless as her father, who lets the monsters roam free and makes the humans pay for his protection. All August wants to do is be human, as good-hearted as his own father, to play a bigger role in protecting the innocent, but he's one of the monsters, one who can steal a soul with a simple string of a song. When the chance arises to keep an eye on Kate, who's just been kicked out of her 6th boarding school and returned home, August jumps at it. But Kate discovers August's secret, and after a failed assassination attempt, the pair must flee for their lives. So, This book, I gave this book 5 stars. I think I said that already. If I didn't, I gave it 5 stars. This book is so dark and so twisted and so beautiful, and I love everything about it. This is the book that got me back into YA fantasy. Well, this duology is what got me back into YA fantasy. It is stunning. The scene building is amazing. The monsters in this, I was like, oh, okay. Like, these guys, they're creepy. They're really creepy. And I love August. August is amazing. So there's over 82,000 reviews for this book, and the overall rating is 4.3, with the majority being 4-star reviews. So that's still pretty good. Let's hit those 1 stars and see why people hate one of my favorite books. Oh goodness, another. Okay, I'm not about to read a whole speech about why you hate this book. I'm sorry. Let me get to another one. Although I do appreciate people who can explain why they dislike a book eloquently and without feeling the need to just curse it out. I'm sorry, my stool is squeaking, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna find a short one. I received an advance reader copy from the publisher. This is no way impacted on my view, clearly, because you gave it a 1 star. So everywhere you turn on Twitter or GRV, Schwab is an author loved by many. I tried one of her earlier books sometimes last year and found it wasn't for me. Maybe if I went back to it in the future, I'd love it as much as my friends. When I initially heard about this book, I was immediately intrigued by the premise and requested a review copy, hoping this would be the book to make me see why Schwab is loved by so many fantasy fans. Well, if you haven't already checked my rating or the tags, you'll see that, yet again, I had DNF'd a book by this author. Okay, if I knew she DNF'd it, I would have read a different one, but it's fine. We've already started, so I'll continue. I started the book early in June during my exams and even took it on holiday with me at the end of that month. After June, even though I was only 39% of the way through the book, I didn't pick it up again. Simply, I was bored. There was nothing wrong with the book in particular, but I just wasn't invested in the characters, in the plot, or in the writing. Exactly like I'd been with A Darker Shade of Magic. So after another month and a bit, I decided not to prolong the inevitable and just mark the book as DNF. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the book, but I think it's safe to say that me and Schwab's books just don't get on. I know loads of people adore her books, and rightly so, because the premise of all of them sounds fantastic, but for me, they just don't work. I'm literally the outlier when it comes to this book, so don't just take my review as your only one when it comes to your decision to try this book. Hopefully, if you do try them, you'll love the books like so many others have. I'm just not one of them. This is a negative review that I can get behind. One, because, you know, I never like to trash a book unless it's grossly problematic, because at the end of the day, somebody put their heart and soul into writing that story. So I like to always try and be relatively sincere and empathetic about when I'm reviewing a book, and I think that this person did a really good job of that. I can completely understand if the book wasn't for you. I listened to the audiobook for both The Savage Song and Our Dark Duet, so following along with it was really, really easy. I literally listened to them one after the other, and it was just kind of like one long story for me, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But if the book just wasn't for you, then I totally get it. Like, not every book is going to resonate with you. I wish that she had stuck with it, because the beginning can actually be a little bit slow. But I would say, like, when I hit that 40-45% of the book, I was like, I'm sold with it. It was really, really good. So I wish she would have stuck with it, but I understand that, you know, not every book is going to be for you. That's totally fine. The last book that I'm going to do is another YA fantasy, and I don't actually have a physical copy with me because I read the audiobook for it, and it's called The Shadows Between Us, and it's written by Trisha Levin Seller. I recently started reading, well, I started binge reading Trisha Levin Seller last year, and I absolutely adored her, and this is one of the books. I ended up giving this a 4.5 star rating, and the premise is this. Alexandra is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. Number 1, woo the Shadow King. Number 2, marry him. And number 3, kill him and take his kingdom for herself. Pretty easy, right? No one knows the extent of her freshly crowned Shadow King's power. Some say he can command the shadows that swirl around him to do his bidding. Others say they speak to him, whispering the thoughts of his enemies. Regardless, Alexandra knows knows what she deserves, and she's going to do everything within her power to get it. But Alexandra is not the only one trying to kill the king. As attempts on his life are made, she finds herself trying to keep him alive long enough for him to make her his queen, all while struggling not to lose her heart. After all, who better for a Shadow King than a cunning villainous queen? I really enjoyed the story. It was a lot of fun. I didn't give it 4.5 stars because it was the most groundbreaking YA fantasy I've ever read. No, but I liked that it was unique. It was to the point, a quick listen, and just, it was very like seat gripping. Like something was always happening and I appreciated that. So like I said, not the most outstanding YA fantasy, but it's a really, really fun story and I would highly recommend it. So let's see what these reviews say. So there are over 53,000 reviews. The overall review for the book is a 3.94 with a kind of tie between 4 and 5 stars. So let's get to these 1-star reviews. Okay, so this one says, the lack of flavor in this book is truly a disgrace. 13-year-old me from Wattpad could write a better villain and villain romance. Oh my gosh. That was mean, but really, really funny. Props for the humor there. That was funny. Okay. I don't know what this person means by a lack of flavor. Yeah, it's a 1-sentence review. I don't know what they mean by a lack of flavor. I would love to see a Wattpad story by 13-year-old you. I feel like, you know, that'd be kind of funny. Okay, yeah, that was just, okay, they didn't like it. Fine, you didn't really give me a specific reason, but whatever. Here. Few chapters in and I already hate this book. I went into this with high expectations. I love this author's other books, but sadly this book was not for me. That's interesting because I actually, out of all the ones that I read for her, this one is one of my favorites. So our protagonist was supposed to be a Slytherin. I'm a huge fan of Slytherin protagonists. So obviously the Harry Potter house is Slytherin. I'm also a Slytherin, so cool. While reading a book, sorting the characters into Hogwarts houses is something I enjoy. Okay, but I never felt that with the main I never felt that the main character was a Slytherin. Where is the Slytherin banter, Slytherin sarcastic sense of humor, resourcefulness? That's not okay. We are supposed to believe that the main character is cunning and intelligent, but there were no actions that suggested that. I disagree. The main character did not come across as Slytherin. All I felt was that this girl was a narcissistic person who thought herself to be an intelligent person. And she plays with various men's feelings and is proud of it. Well, I mean, you're, okay, she's, okay, that's what you got from it. Imagine if it was a male character and the male character used other girls and discarded them without a second thought. There are plenty of books where that happens, but okay, honey. Would you admire that male character? No, I was the man she had NSA relations were not the best people, but doesn't give her the right to use them. I love my characters to be morally gray, but that means the characters have layers to their personality. This main character just felt flat. My internal monologue got so tiring after some time she just felt annoying. Sorry, her internal monologue. The Shadow King probably was the biggest disappointment. He was supposed to be mysterious and intriguing, but I couldn't care less for him. It felt as though the author tried to make him Carden 2.0, but failed miserably at it. I was interested in Carden's character from the moment we were introduced to him. The Shadow King felt like someone who tried hard to be the cool boy that you as the reader feel secondhand embarrassment for him. If you want a Slytherin main character, just pick any V. Schwab book. I don't understand this person's I don't get it. I don't understand this person's issue. I guess the issue is the main character didn't emulate Slytherin enough, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think authors set out to write stories where their main characters all necessarily fit into a Harry Potter house. I could, like I said, I could be wrong, but I don't think most authors are doing that. So I'm sorry the main character didn't fit into the Slytherin house for you, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the point. The other point made about the main character using men in her past to kind of get ahead. Our main character is put in a really, really crappy position where her father is literally trying to barter her off for money. And you find that out within like the first 2 chapters, so that's not a spoiler. So I completely understand her kind of affliction to men and the estranged relationship that she has with them. So I guess that reader just kind of missed all of that. Not saying that that is an excuse to treat people poorly, but I understand how that came in. And also the men that she used were not treating her very nicely either. So, you know, sure. I would say if you're gonna read the book, listen to the audiobook because it was phenomenal. I love the Shadow King. I thought that the Shadow King was very nice to read about. He was such a cool character, and I love the concept of the actual shadows. I don't want to give away why the shadows are there or what they do or anything like that. You got to read it for yourself, but overall I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would recommend it. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this video. I have sufficiently been put in my feelings enough for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, please just take this all in good fun. None of it is serious. You know, I'm poking at these reviews just like they were poking at the book. I'm entitled to have my opinion and they're entitled to have theirs. It was all in good fun. Please don't take it seriously. It's really not that deep. At the end of the day, every book is gonna hit somebody differently. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe before you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!